Hello, welcome to another episode of the PHNX Mercury Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. I am Corbin Ford, and with us all, gracing us with her presence as always, is my lovely co-host Aaliyah Baines. Aaliyah, how are you today?
I am good, praying to the Wi-Fi gods that whatever's happening fixes itself, because we've had some stinky connection here for the last couple minutes. So, other than that, good.
You know, the connection has been almost as consistent as the Mercury season so far. I'm sorry, too soon.
There you go. There you
go. But talking about the Mercury, as great of a transition as that was, we are currently on the eve of the Mercury about to play tonight against the Dallas Wings. This will be at home, another Commissioner's Cup game. In fact, all 5 games so far, well, counting tonight's game against Dallas, have all been Commissioner Cups games. And right now, I'm ready for the next Aces matchup that's not one. Because so far, our record on Commissioner Cups games, Aaliyah, is pretty iffy, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, just quickly recapping before we kind of dive into the latter half of that. We had, from last week, of course, a rough loss to the Aces for the Mercury, followed by a nice win against an admittedly shorthanded Seattle Storm squad, right? We'll take week 2, and it's like we did the exact same thing. This time we start off with a nice win over a shorthanded Seattle squad and an even rougher loss to the Aces. And that's the one, Aaliyah, I want to circle on because we both watched this, interacted in real time on this game, and it hurt. Like, I'm going to let you get your initial thoughts before we get all into the nitty-gritty here. But watching that game, the matchup, we already talked about how we felt going into it. So just seeing it kind of work itself out, what's your analysis? What was your take on this most recent loss? For the record, 106-88 to the Aces.
Yes, well, I do want to shout out this Seattle win.
I said the wrong score, 86-74. I'm sorry.
You're good. I do want to shout out the Seattle win, though. I mean, we did play well. Diana had 20 points. DeShields came off the bench with 11 points and 4 assists. So shout out her for that one. That was a good way to hit the ground running, right? And then that Vegas loss, I mean, we looked so good in the first half, and I thought we were gonna take it, and I was excited to see how this offense was rolling, and things seemed like they started clicking, and then come halftime, Vegas came out swinging, and we couldn't get it. I mean, Tina still had 17 points, 8 defensive rebounds, so she brought the heat. Shea Petty with 13 points. DeShields started her first start with the Mercury, and also played well. So, I think we looked good in that first half, and we kind of maybe came out too hot and couldn't maintain that pace. Almost all of Vegas's starters scored 15 points, except Dearica Hamby and Chelsea Gray, who had 13 and 14 points. I mean, they again brought the heat offensively. And I just don't think we could keep up in the long run. I don't know if we burnt ourselves out too quickly, or there was something going on or what. But that second half did not look pretty. But what about you? What do you think?
No, I agree with you. Like, in the first half, I was really, really encouraged by what I saw. We're playing in through Tina Charles. Obviously, her against that front line for the Aces. Yes, very good between, both Asia Wilson and Dearica Hamby. But Tina Charles was getting hurt. And I was like, yes. Like, it was reminiscent of one of the first games I ever saw Tina Charles, where she scored, I think, 17, like, in the first quarter with the New York Liberty against the Mercury. Like, shades of that kind of dominance there. And I was like, all right, here we go. Kind of a little slip in the half, not really so much. The Aces woke up a little bit more in the second quarter, outscoring Phoenix. I think it was 18-14 in that second quarter. No big deal. Mercury still have a lead, and now they have the blueprint on how to play effectively against this Aces squad. Like, we figured them out, or so I thought. third quarter came and the Mercury just got blitzed. Like you said, 30-point third quarter for the Aces. It was 12 points for the Mercury on 3 of 14 shooting. And then when it comes to turnovers, they had 5 of those in the third alone, which obviously is just killer for a team that is trying to, at this point, restore a little bit of their momentum. And going in the fourth, I mean, at that point, the lead was pretty much kind of big. It was room for a run. And for a brief spurt, Diamond DeShields get a couple baskets. It felt like there might be a little bit of a run going, but, the Aces then at that point were getting to the foul line. Mercury kind of in the bonus. The lead. Time started playing as an extra opponent against the Mercury, and it just wasn't there. And it just ended up being a great win for an Aces squad that's 4-1 and looking like the cream of the crop in the W right now. But for the Mercury, I really thought it was even more disheartening because for a moment there, it was really for a half there, it looked like, okay, like this is the Mercury squad that we're going to have, full health right now. That's really going to make that big of a difference, with Diamond, with Brianna Turner against this Aces unit.
Yeah, no, I agree, but also the opposite, right? Like, I think this showed our potential and how when we're clicking, we can play really, really successfully against those aggressive teams like Vegas, because there's a lot of other teams out there that are kind of looking the same Vegas-wise. Like, they have really strong offense and a lot of really good players that are going to hit the ground running, right? So I saw it as like, oh, we're kind of clicking. We're kind of getting a groove, and like we could go big if we can keep it consistent, but we didn't. So we fell off that second half, and I don't know, maybe I'm just trying to keep it hopeful and fingers crossed, but that's kind of where I thought. I was like, okay, here's a taste of how good we can be. We just got to figure out how to stay in that sweet spot.
You're right. And I actually want to do a little vibe check with you here in a second because you are seeing a lot more optimistically between the two of us. I walked away from that game feeling a little discouraged for sure. So we'll do a vibe check on a 1 to 10. We'll do all of that here in a second.
Okay.
We do got to talk about one thing that dominated all of the news headlines for the Phoenix Mercury. It was all over Twitter for the moment. It's much to my annoyance because, come on. Like I was telling you before we came on air, it's on People, Sports Illustrated, ESPN, New York Daily Post. I get it. Like altercations in sports is a thing, and it does raise awareness. I just feel in the WNBA, it's always skewed more toward the focus on the very few altercations that may happen than on the actual product of the floor. That's my own little beef. It's out there. I threw it out there. It's cooking. But Leah, we gotta talk about it. Diana Taurasi, Skylar Diggins-Smith were visibly frustrated with each other this past week, and toward the end of the first half, Skylar Diggins was sitting on the bench during a team huddle. You saw it, like she was sitting there, her leg was moving, she was like in another place. We've seen her look before. All of a sudden she gets up, she goes toward Taurasi, she's saying words, then Taurasi stands up, and then everyone separates them. In that moment, things just blew up out of proportion. Now, just before I throw it off to you, Mercury coach Vanessa Nygaard said, basically she didn't seem too concerned, and she said people play sports with a lot of passion, and so we've seen it. We're not the first team to have any kind of arguments or disagreements on the bench. We've seen it throughout the NBA and other leagues this season. Then she goes on to continue to say, this is their lives, this is the game they love, and there's a lot going on. The players, they play hard, they play with passion, end quote. So you had that moment. It's been all over Twitter, all over the news cycle concerning the WNBA and the Mercury and where those intersect. Aaliyah, let's get your take on both that situation and how it has just exploded since then, please. Okay, I was gonna say you're muted. I was like, come on, Lee, you got me.
Can you hear me? I wanted to say before I start. Okay, good.
You are good.
Yeah, like I said, the Wi-Fi gods, we need some help because I don't know what's going on right now.
That's but prayer. 20 more minutes.
Right, exactly. Hallelujah. But like I said, no, before we went live, I at first was like, this is just sideline beef, right? Things happen. You get in the heat of the game. It's two of the most opinionated and bold players that we have on this team. Like, it's bound to happen. No biggie.
It appears the Wi-Fi powers that be may have interfered here. They may have interfered for just a split second. Wait it out for a minute and see if we can get Aaliyah back in here. Oh, she was there for a second, and she's back. Aaliyah, muted, but back. Okay, she's trying to figure that out here. Oh,
okay. How about now?
there it is.
How are we feeling?
Hey, we
Maybe.
are feeling good. We are feeling fine.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, back
All
to what
right.
I was saying. I think at the end of the day, like this team has shout out my article, right? This season's bigger than basketball. There's so much on the line this season. There's so much, like we as fans, right, have so much stress and anxiety around the BG situation that I can't even imagine how the players themselves are feeling. Brianna Turner and Diamond Shields just getting in from overseas. Crazy off season. The world is the world. There's always things going on. So I just think there's an added amount of stress to this team right now. And at the end of the day, that's going to mean that these things happen more often. I hope that, I would think they're both veteran players. They know how to be adults and communicate, right? I think that hopefully next game, Skylar's still out for this game because she is sick, thankfully, with a non-COVID related illness, but hopefully she can recover quickly. But at the end, I'm just going to chop it up to, high stress situation. But they'll get through it. They just need to communicate, get on the same page, and move on.
I'm with you on that. I think we gave it the perfect amount of coverage that I needed, Aaliyah. Thank you for that nuanced take. And definitely, folks, please check out Aaliyah's article. It's up there on PHNX. Definitely check it out. Aaliyah, you kind of teased a little bit about it, but do you want to kind of share with our viewers and listeners a little more what it is, basically encompassing this Mercury? And so glad to have you with your first written piece out here. This is great.
Yeah, no, I definitely can shout it out. For sure, go give it a read. But I told just a little bit of my how I got here story, right? Like freshman in college, me, I was DMing. I was writing a paper on the pay gap between the WNBA and the NBA, and DM'd a bunch of WNBA players. Only one that answered was Brittany Griner. So she gave me I actually went back in my DMs when I was writing and found our old conversation, and so she was super sweet and like just gave me some nice insight on it. But definitely go check it out. Highlight the Shields journey these last couple of years. And and then the team like the next day tweeted something, and it was like the caption they put was like bigger than basketball, and I'd like to think that was like maybe an ode or something, but I'm not gonna get ahead of myself or anything. But I took it as a self-proclaimed ode to my article. But definitely go read it if you have the opportunity. And I'm glad to get going on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to you, Lee. That's bomb. I'd like to think as well, they got some inspiration from that. Definitely a great piece. Highly recommend reading. And shout out to BG. I mean, as always. But also, that is really dope to have that. Again, this is what it's all about. Being able to reach out, have that, not only fandom, being able to have that sense of community and able to communicate with these athletes and have the forwarding of something. Now look at you writing a paper, years later based on that one interaction from this one assignment. That is really, really cool. So we have a little bit more to go here on the PHNX Mercury show. We are moving on. Last week's in the mirror one. Before we officially close out last week, I said we were going to do our little vibe check. We have to now. Just catching up where the Mercury are on the numbers, on the standings. So right now, they are 2-2. Quite a few teams in that glut there. They are 4th in points per game. They are 5th in offensive rating, but they have now slipped to 10th in defensive rating out of 12 and 7th in net rating. So you look at the games ahead, in between the time that we're doing our shows, there's going to be the Dallas Wings, Las Vegas Aces, and possibly the Los Angeles Sparks, depending on when we go live. We'll talk about that more later. Not diving into those games, but knowing where we stand now, knowing the games we had and the results from then, and looking at this next week. Aaliyah, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the vibe check here for this Mercury squad?
I think I'm a solid 6. Okay. I feel like I'm definitely above a 5. Like I'm leaning towards the positive, but I recognize we have some weak spots. Like you said, like 10th in defense, that's not good. And I think that these next games, I think Dallas is going to be a good game for us to kind of get on our feet. Where Dallas and us are kind of like neck and neck right now. And they're ranked right above us in second for the Western Conference season standing. So I think we have, if we can, like I've said a million times, like if we can get in a groove and stay consistent, we're going to be good. But if we keep doing this like up and down, then we're going to probably keep falling in those standings. But yeah, solid 6 for me. What about you?
I am going to go slightly down. I'm going to give it a 5. I think on the one hand, You know, you look at this Mercury roster, we were literally just integrating now Diamond DeShields and Breonna Turner, and that's great. Defensively, I am worried, and also worried that some of the defensive holes we have are just due to the fact the personnel that we are missing, the players that we are missing on this squad just aren't more than likely going to be here for most of the year. You know, having additional both wing depth in Kia Nurse and obviously at the center position as well would be huge. You know, Tian Charles, great player, but defensively there's gaps there. And so I wonder, the more pessimistic core, I like to keep that guy locked away, wonders if like defensively this is just what the Mercury are, a back half, you know, defensive team. You know, Skylar Diggins-Smith is going to try it, but she is there. Dan Taurasi at 39, you know, still won't one of the best to do it. But defensively, there is some slippage there, right? Especially on the quicker two guards, you know, or the quicker point guard. So there's issues there. Offensively, I think we're still trying to integrate Diamond. I love the fact that she's in the starting lineup now, giving them that extra burst of athleticism, you know, from that wing spot, you know, still finding her jumper, but also we've seen the moves and the way she can, you know, do some off the dribble juice that we haven't really seen from the Mercury in a minute. So that has been kind of cool. So all that being said, there's encouraging things I see on the offensive side. There's some less encouraging things I see on the defensive end of the floor. So I'm waiting for it all to even out, and I think we're at that 5.
No, I agree. I definitely draw some of the same conclusions, right? Like right around that 5-6 mark. But I'm gonna remain hopeful. I think we can get it. I just think, you know, there's a lot on the line for this team, and we just got to get in the good mindset.
Absolutely. And we still have more to go here on the PHNX Mercury show. We got our PHNX Player of the Week. We have our Hustle Player of the Week award, and we got to look, of course, to the Dallas Wings. But before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, please, Mercury fans all over, this is the time. Time is now at 6:19 to join the action on the court. We have the WNBA season already rolling with the Mercury yet to play in about another 40 minutes or so with DraftKings Sportsbook. Turn the Mercury's victory, because I do think they're going to get a victory tonight, into your big win. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $200 back in free bets if they do. Not a foot long, y'all. It's bigger than that, okay? It's really super simple. If they win, you win. All right, listen, I haven't quite gotten into this yet. I did download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, so that's a start. I would have bet on the Aces game, you know, after halftime. Feeling really good. I'm glad I didn't, just because, you know, that third quarter would have me losing it all. Well, losing all my free bets, you know. Anyways, what do you think, Aaliyah, on this? Like, are we feeling the Dallas game as a game to possibly, you know, throw some money at it, see how we feel?
I definitely thought about it. I was driving home from work today, and I was like, you know what? But I think I'm going to hold off one more time. I want to see how we do against a team that's very similar to us. And after that, I'm all in. I'm gonna say it right now, staking a bet at the next game. But this one, I'm gonna feel it out, see how we do without Skylar. I think that's gonna be good for our newer players. And yeah, that's kind of where my head's at right now. What about you?
You know, I'm in the same boat. I was exactly where you were. It's almost like a Marvel movie, parallel universes. I was driving home, and I was like, I got you ready for the show. Maybe I'm gonna put my $5 down. And I thought, you know what, Skylar's not in. I'm hungry. I'm going to get a hot and ready from Little Caesars. So that's what I ended up doing with my $5. But that's fine, because next week,
oh my God,
I'm going to take that same 5. I'm just saying, next week I'm going to take that same 5, and I might make a different decision. I might go to DraftKings Sportsbook, okay? You can always bet on WNBA hoops with same-game parlays. That alone gives it an extra step over my pepperoni pizza. But even better, you can buy multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So don't like how it's going? Boom. You can just walk it back a little bit, which I can do with this pizza. It's still right here in my lap, like sitting there. So there's the difference there. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code PHNX. Bet just $5 on any WNBA team to win, but we really know it's just the Mercury that we back over here. And get $200 in free bets when they do. If they win, you win with promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. Just real quick, 21 over. Arizona only. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. All right, so now we are officially about to move on into this week of Mercury basketball, but we have to come up with our PHNX Player of the Week and our PHNX Hustle Player of the Week award. We had a nice, cool graphic. Shout out to our producer Mallory for putting it up on Twitter today. With all of our votes for this past week, so hopefully get that finalized. I will enter that into the super official PHNX Mercury Google Doc, and it will be locked for time immortal. But until then, it is still available to make your pick in the comments. Let us know what you think. We greatly appreciate that. But looking from this past week and now into this week, Ali, we have to start with you. Who do you have nominated for the PHNX Player of the Week and the PHNX Hustle Player of the Week?
Okay, so this week I have, for my hustle player, I have Tina Charles.
Okay.
And, against that Vegas game, she had 9 rebounds, 17 points, like I said, and she had 10 rebounds against Seattle. So I think she just looked solid. Brought the heat against Vegas when the rest of the team kind of seemed to fall back a little bit. And for my player of the week, I have Skylar Diggins. She had four rebounds, 6 assists, and 10 points against Vegas, and 10 points and 5 assists against Seattle. So just solid all around as always. And yeah, kind of where my head's at.
Those are solid as always, Pixelia. I really can't argue with any of those. I do share one player. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I do want to also share the votes or the nominations, that is, of the other members of our team. So we do have our writer Aya Abdeen, who submitted her nominations for the PHNX Player and Hustle Player of the Week. And I'm just going to read this here. For the PHNX Player of the Week, she has Taurasi because of the cell performance that Taurasi put in Saturday versus Seattle, despite having a rough game on Tuesday. For Aya's Hustle Player of the Week, she is between Diamond DeShields and Brianna Turner. So we have a little bit of a wedge there. We have a little bit of a tie there. They both brought it in the defense, and they both made a difference. I agree with Aya's sentiments there. Both Turner and DeShields were up there for that hustle player, and honestly made it very tough for me. But that's Aya's picks. And then we also have producer Mallory as well. Her player of the week is Diamond DeShields, and her hustle player of the week is Shea Petty. Mm-hmm. So this is where I went back and forth. Honestly, I'm going to listen, Leah, I might just spice it up and make a change right here. I'm about to call audible. I originally had Skylar Diggins my player of the week and Diamond DeShields my hustle player of the week. But then I said, nah, I want Diamond as the player of the week. And now I'm forgetting. I want Sky Diggins as my hustle. But I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go different here. I'm going to go Diamond. I'm putting Diamond DeShields as my player and my hustle player of the week.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking about doing a double too.
There we go.
DeShields was definitely up there with in my I couldn't decide, but ultimately I went with what I went with, but I definitely agree she played awesome this week.
Oh yeah, you couldn't go wrong. Like I'm saying, the way so far that we watch all the games, we're quick enough, we're deep in the analysis here. Like we know what we're going with. I just think over the last 3 games, you have DeShields 11 points per game, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Yeah, shooting better from the field is something that could happen, especially from 3. 22%, not too great, but she comes in right now. We're definitely getting that spark of energy. We're getting defensive intensity on the wing. We're getting someone who's able to kind of break, and create some offense on her own off the dribble. And I just think that that's an immediate shot in the arm. So I'm going bold. I'm going to put Diamond for both player and hustle player of the week. And you know what, Leah, next time you'll get that, and we'll continue the great tradition. But please, anyone, listening, watching, let us know what y'all think as well. And we know Mercury X Factor faithful, we all watch the games here. We all got our picks. We love sharing that. So definitely make sure to share that. We'll have our tweets on Twitter at PHNX_Mercury. You can also put in the comments here below the video. Really just appreciate any and all feedback there. And we want to know. It's a conversation. It's interaction. We just want to have some fun as Mercury fans together. So definitely make sure to do that. And yeah, we'll get these picks up for next week. It should be very fun to kind of see how we evolve and compare as the weeks pass by.
Absolutely.
But, Leah, you were on it. I have to throw it over to you because we got a game tonight. We got Dallas in the house, and Dallas, like you said, they're right there 2-2. What are your just initial thoughts on the Wings? And how excited are you to kind of see them matched up against the Mercury tonight?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see how we play without Skylar. I think she's just one of those integral parts of the team that I want to see how we do without her. You never know what a season's going to hold. You never know, especially in the world of COVID and all the crazy things that are happening. I want to see how this offense holds up. And like I said before, Dallas is ranked right above us, second for Western Conference season standings. They're also 2-2. So things can definitely take a turn. So I want like Arike Ngubwale is leading the wing so far offensively with 21 points against New York and 27 points against the Mystics. So she's gonna bring it. I just, like I've said a million times, I see us neck and neck, and I want to see what the difference is, how we're gonna play, how things are gonna develop. And is Diana? I'm indifferent about Diana this season, right? Like I feel, she played that big game against Seattle, and other than that, though, I haven't been super like starstruck by her yet this season. So I want to see how she does against a team that's not really, I don't think is going to come out swinging and really going to challenge us like some of the other teams in the league. So that's kind of where my thoughts are. I want to see Diana step up a little bit, especially with Skylar not there. I don't know what's going on with that situation. And then, see what Ngubwale can do against our offense or against our defense, and what our offense can do against theirs.
Very excellent points. Very excellent points. I'm with you on all of that. I think you made the biggest thing I took away just now from what you said is, okay, Skylar Diggins-Smith, the point guard, big part of the offense, right? Someone who gets the Mercury into their set, someone who has been consistent from the offensive end this season. You mentioned Taurasi, and I'm feeling the exact same way you're feeling, kind of up in the air there. So who's going to step up tonight, and lead from not only the point guard position, whether it's Shea Petty, who I think we both agree would probably take more of the on-ball reps on that, but also just a matter of getting the Mercury organized and composed as the floor general there. And, Skylar Diggins' points per game are also important. So who's going to give an uptick in points that's going to be needed, Is it going to be Shea Petty a little bit more? Is Diana Taurasi going to pick it up? Is Diamond Shields going to come at it more? Do we see, Tina Charles, obviously, we see that she can already manage a substantial offensive load. So that's another question I'm curious about as well. And the third thing is defensively. You mentioned Rika Ngubwale. Wow, I almost started so strong there. But you mentioned her and her, gaudy scoring output as well. But Marina Mabry and Alicia Gray, all three of them can score. All three are averaging just about 15 points per game. But what really gets me is that Ngubwale is shooting 7 threes a game, and she's hitting it at 37% clip. Mabry is shooting 5 threes a game, making 50% of those. Alicia Gray, 4 threes a game, and she's making it 41%. Like, those are all very good numbers from three. They're all pretty substantial for a game. And so I wonder if their sharpshooters come out, or their scorers. Got to look at Erika more as a scorer than a shooter. But the point is, they're making a bunch of threes. Where's the Mercury defense that we've already been kind of low on going to do to kind of hold them in check? Because, standings-wise, you're right. Like, they're in the same area. And actually, the Mercury are better than them offensively. But Dallas is better on the defensive end, at least by defensive rating. So I definitely think it's going to be an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. We definitely are going to have to step up that perimeter guarding and making sure that we don't let them just start draining threes like we've let Vegas do in the past. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And like you said, that point that you made about Skylar's points have made a huge impact on our wins this season. So without that, who's going to step up? Who's going to take that place? I want to see. I noticed that Cunningham, last game didn't really, I don't know if it was last game or if it was against Seattle, but didn't score very much, even though she had come out kind of hot this season. So we'll see. We'll see who's going to step up, see what's going to happen. But I think if we can not do what we did against Vegas and come in really hard first half and then just, fall off second half and maintain, the same pace, then we should be okay.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you. It's going to be exciting to see. I'm looking forward to it. After a tough loss, always getting back in that saddle again in there is exciting. So I hate to be that person, but I am going to be that person, Leah. I'm going to throw it right back over to you to get your predictions on tonight's matchup. And then I might do the whole good old-fashioned, I agree, but we'll see.
I don't know, because last time I did this, right, it was our first game, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna win, and then we know how that went. So I'm gonna hold off maybe a little bit and say I genuinely don't know. I don't want to be our bear. I don't want to give us any bad juju or bad luck and be like, yep, we're gonna win, or nope, we're not going to. I think it's all just gonna depend on people's mindsets. I don't know if the rest of the team is shaken up about the Diana Skylar thing. Was it Brianna Turner that was in the middle of them, right? And she kind of like looked like a deer in headlights, trying to keep the two of them separate. So I don't know. I think my prediction for this game is I just want to see a cohesive unit trying to play clean, good basketball, right? Like I want clean plays being run. I want to see just good basketball IQ, right? I want to see good passes. I want to see good shots being made. I don't want lobs. I don't want, defense. I don't want the other team to beat us down the court, right? Like I just want to see some good tactical improvements and not so much worry about the wins and losses. It's very early in the year or in the season. And so as much as I don't want to lose, like I'm okay with loss in points, but if I can see improvement in some of the tactical errors that we've made, then I'll consider that a plus for sure.
I like all of that. That's all very good points and something you're right. That's markets out of improvement that you can go, hey, win, lose, or draw. Like the Mercury did improve in X, Y, and Z. Right. I may just have to do this. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, Mercury fans, X Factor, you know where it is. Y'all know what it is. DraftKings Sportsbooks, promo code PHNX. Listen, I use my 5 on something different, but tonight I encourage you to follow my lead, okay? Follow this bold take, Aaliyah. I feel it in my bones. Don't ask me why. It's totally rational. I think Mercury get this game by like 8 to 10. I'm looking at a huge game for Tina Charles. I just think it's there. I am manifesting this.
Positive. Yes.
Yes. Let's put it all in there, okay? All our chips on the table. Yes, I may not be there with you putting the chips there, but I am there in spirit. So I implore y'all.
You're bringing the pizza, right? That hot and ready. You're ready.
Hey, listen.
Show up hot and ready.
There you go. Hey.
We need that. We need a shout out, Little Caesars. We need a sponsor.
Listen, please, okay? I'm right here. We are here. But listen, yeah, I think I'm with you, Aaliyah. I think it's gonna be a good game regardless. I'm excited for just an uptick in effort. You're right, and seeing most importantly how the Mercury respond. They are going through a little bit of a tough patch. Obviously, the presence of the lack thereof. Actually, Brittany Griner is big on this team. We knew it was going to be prevailing. Just extra. I don't know the word to say. Influence, a factor. There you go on this unit, and so there is a lot there on a serious note to take into account. And also on the floor, you are having a team that is still, trying to vibe and get everything going together. So. A lot of adversity right now. Like seeing how the Mercury respond to this, this could be the start of just a whole new look on their season in terms of, okay, now having our point guard coming off of a dispiriting loss, with some tensions in the locker room. How do we bounce back? I think that this game could be definitely a very important stepping stone in looking at the future trajectory for this season of the Mercury. But yeah, Aaliyah, any final thoughts out here before we kind of get prepped up, get ourselves ready for tonight's game here in about 20 minutes?
Yeah, coming up 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for a clean game. Like I said, I want to see some tactical improvement, some more reliance on our bench maybe, and yeah, I'm excited. Go Merc, as always, and check out my article if you haven't already, and we will see you next week.
Yes, there it is. Aaliyah said it herself. Check us out. Please read Aaliyah's article. It is bomb. Check out us on Twitter at PHNX_Mercury. Look for more Mercury content coming soon from our amazing team. For Aaliyah, for Aya, for Mallory, this has been Corbin. This is the PHNX Mercury show. We are out. Go Mercury.